Good evening and afternoon and morning and whatever it is. Hello, I'm Steve Leahy. This is Thursday, 4:25. What's going on, everyone? Or 25-4 if you're in Europe, right? You guys do the date first. Anyway, hello, welcome. I can't talk. We're having a good week here, getting a lot done. Yeah, what I thought we'd do is this Ford painting is the last one of the ones that's just been kind of hanging around. So I thought we would put some time into this, and I'm gonna burn this down over the next week and a half to get it done. So that's what we got planned for today. So it should be fun, real casual. I only have a little bit of show and tell for you, and that's it. So welcome everyone. Hope everyone's having a good week, and that's what I got. So let's jump right to it. Switch to this one, I think. Yeah. So here's the painting. This is where I left off. I started this with the whole group of not 543s. What am I saying? All the HD stencils. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. I started this with all the HD stencil paintings. This was one of the 4 or 5 that I originally had planned. And it just kept kind of getting, I've been working on it, but I've worked on it live, I've worked on it on my own, but I've just been kind of not really putting, that full 100% effort into it because there's always been something else going on. So that's kind of what's going on with that. So if I can get in here so I can say hello and get comments from people as they move in. Donna, what's up? Good afternoon or good morning for you, right? So the only quick show and tell, I'm going to move this for a second. I'm going to do a little quick video for this, an unboxing video. I actually have a couple of unboxing videos to put up. Some people have been sending me some really great things, and I'm trying to keep track of that and get those videos out. So this is the latest one. If you've been following what's been going on, the great artist, Spanish artist David Naylor, has been doing these really tiny portraits. So in doing that, he had done one of me. So he actually sent it to me, and I got it today. So I know you might have seen it online, but this is me. This is the little David painting. And he made the frame. It's a little 3D printed frame, and it's on paper, almost like a Post-it note. I don't know what kind of paper that is, but it's really neat. And he just does these. He doesn't draw them out first. He just starts sketching and goes nuts, and that's it. Hey, Tim, what's up, buddy? Enzo, what's going on? So yeah, so that's what it is. Not even the signature is done with the airbrush. It's really crazy. So I thought I'd share this. And like I said, I'm going to do a video. I have some other videos that I got to put out, some unboxing Michael McClung. So I got a lot of catching up to do with that. I've been trying to push ahead on the video stuff so that I get ahead of the game, especially with the year that I've got coming up with traveling, back home mostly for new grandchildren and weddings and all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm trying to get ahead of the content so that I don't have to worry about it, but that has taken up a lot of time. So I know, excuses, right? So this painting is farther along than I kind of feel like. I feel like it's like still needs a lot of work, and it kind of does, but for the most part it's over 50% done, which is great. I just really have to kind of work on the front of the car here. I have to finish the someone told me what the actual name of the parts were. So this would be the hood on a normal car, but because it's an older Ford, it's more like a covering hatch or whatever. So there's a name for it. I just forget what it is. So I got to do that. And the front bumper, obviously, in this guy, and they'll finish the wheel back here. So there's a lot to do. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing today. I just realized this morning that I needed to kind of get this done now. So I think maybe a good idea, since I know I did the blue truck in the back. Both of these are pickup trucks, by the way. I did the blue truck in the back to kind of get that done so I could finish the red in the front truck. And I think that's a good way to keep going with it. I could do the wheel here, but I feel like if I get the body color finally done on the red truck, that's going to make a big difference. I still got treads to put in on these wheels. So there is a lot to do. The other quick note too, I'll switch out to this camera. You guys, if you've been following this particular series of paintings, I ordered custom frames for these way back when I started them. And you might also know the story if you watched the Harley painting, which I just finished. All these frames, then they're nice frames. They're solid wood frames. All of these frames came in the wrong size, which sucked. So instead of sending them back, what I do is I just recut all the boards. So this worked out well because it's a series and that kind of thing. But even now, after seeing the Harley painting, I know that when I get to it with this one and it's done, I got to do a better frame than this. So I'll still use these frames for something. I don't know what, but you know, because like I said, they're nice frames. They're really solid and they're well made and all that fun stuff. They're nice floater frames, but they're also a super odd size. So if I use them for something else, I'm going to have to make it proportional to that. Kelly Drake, what's up, man? That's all right. Oh, nice. Oh, it's raining. Of course it's raining there. We actually have a pretty nice day here. It's overcast, but it's not terrible out. All right. Let me while I'm trying to decide, I'm going to show you. I'm going to switch over to give you guys a look to kind of show you what I'm looking at too. So here is the reference photo that I have, and I took these reference photos at a car meet around here a while ago. I remember me and my dad went, so it had to have been more than 6 or 7 years ago. That's not my dad's leg there on the left, by the way. So again, I can finish the top of the grill or the whole grill, and then the top of the engine, the motor compartment door there, and the back fender or the driver's side fender. I think really that's the way to go. So let's do that. Yeah, that'll make a big difference. While I'm trying to decide here too, if you guys want to see something, if you would rather see me do the headlights, or I don't know what I'm going to do for the license plate. I'm going to take out the actual license plate that's on here and put something else, just because I don't like to put, it's a real person's license plate, and I don't like to do that unless I get permission. So I'll change it to something. I don't know what yet though. What else? Yeah, so if you guys see something, if you want something different, I know we did headlights before and all that fun stuff, but if you want to see something specific while I'm gearing up for this, just let me know. Mr. Marshall, what's up, man? Awesome. We don't have a Chris Garcia, what's happening, man? Yes, Michael, great job on everything, on the Corvette painting, the frame and everything. That was awesome. Oh, Michael, the lines on the ground. Yeah, see, no one's nice about that too. I was actually thinking about taking these out. This is a good composition talk thing. I was thinking about taking those out because the question is always about like what the story is, you know, what story you're trying to tell here. So the reason why I left these in were for two reasons, actually. The first reason, because these are these are parallel lines, but because they're on the ground and they're moving away, they're converging because of perspective, right? So in this small little painting with everything like really up, even though this car, there's a blue one kind of farther in the back, everything's still on the surface. It's very like in your face, this whole painting. So I needed a way to really like introduce some depth to it. And again, this blue truck is in the back, but really it's like as in focus as the red truck, and it's like really right there. It's really a part of it. So I needed something to kind of draw you into this painting, and those caution lines where the car was parked were perfect. All that just kind of not only gives the painting depth, but it also pulls you into the painting. So that was the real reason. The other reason, there were two reasons. The other reason I wanted to leave them in is because, like I said, this was like a car meet type of thing, and I really love that vibe. This is a great little show. It's at a like an ice cream stand, like a dairy that's right near the house where I grew up in, and I love that vibe. I love that people just bring their cars there, they park them, open up all the doors and hoods, and everyone just stands around and has a good time. And this kind of parking lot vibe just kind of reinforced that. So. Rather than having it more like a showroom type of thing by taking everything out, making it like a normal gray background like I do with a lot of the paintings. So those are the two reasons I left those in. But you're right, they are maddening sometimes. Oh, Chris, I hope you're all right, man. As my head's in the way. All right, let me get going on this. The color and everything on these two fenders are good. They've got the blue on them already, which is nice. It's really just this guy up here that I need to kind of deal with. Now that also has this kind of purple color. I'm going to switch over to this again so you can see it. See how different the fenders, the top of the radiator, and the engine compartment door are all much different than the side of this car. And that's really nice. And that's because the sun, the blue sky is bouncing off it, where the side of the car, it's not really happening that way. So again, it does a lot for telling the story. So I got to kind of get that going. I think we'll start with that, since that's probably going to be the crankiest. Mine is kind of an orangey red here. All right. So how do I want to do that? What I really should do is treat both of these at the same time, because it's that blue is on the top of the radiator housing too. So let me grab, since I'm using the, again, I think I gotta get another tablet, so I have two, one for comments and one for just reference. What would be great, and I haven't even looked into this, I don't think there is, but it would be great to have some sort of device that I can, really just use for comments, which would be great, but I don't think there is something other than like a tablet. Okay. This photograph doesn't have the blue, as much of the blue on it. I have a just a color photograph of this, which I kind of use as a general reference for times like these. So we're going to kind of go with that, even though it's not quite right color-wise, but that's okay. Yeah, actually, this door up here is not going to be that hard. The hardest part about it is the louvers. All right, so I got to start with the blue. There's a lot of blue on this. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I really have a lot to do here too. So much fun. Yeah, all right, I'll concentrate on the door. Now, hopefully, probably, I have the cutout for that, so I don't have to cut it out again, because I would have had it to paint it red anyway. Incidentally, this the folder that I have all the cutouts in, I got coffee all over, so now half the cutouts have coffee on them, which is fun. I don't know why that's important, but the good news is sometimes I keep the paintings in these folders when I'm not, working on them. So the good news is this, the painting itself didn't get coffee on it, which is good, because that would have been terrible. Gary, what's up, buddy? All right, so I do have both the copies, so that's going to make life a whole lot easier. We're going to start with the blue, I think. So I know this is obviously going to line up because I've already used it. And now there is a shadow, the shadow underneath the louvers here. You guys see that, or is that too washed out? I don't want it like too crazy washed out. So I'm not worried about the shadow because I have that cut out as well, so I can just drop that back in when I need to. Oh, Chris, yeah, I constantly talk to myself. Yeah, you are not the only one on that one. All right. Yeah. Okay. White, maybe. I may be able to just get away with this with adding a little bit of white without going too crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, in this instance, since I need a white that's, actually I'm out of that. I'm going to use a white that's a little bit more reduced. This has 5 parts reducer in it to 1 part white. Michael, thank you, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that, man. I really, really do. That's awesome. Oh, shoot. Oh, you know what? Well, I can't do it yet. Maybe I'll do it before the end of the feed. You guys know that I finished the Beatles guitar last Monday, or this past Monday on Facebook. So since even then, I have the neck attached to that. So before we go, I'll put out the big, switch to the big camera or the far back camera, and I will get the guitar to show you how it looks. I got a little bit of stuff to do left on it, just kind of buttoning up a few things, but other than that, it's ready to go. I'm super happy about that. That was a great project, but it really, really did dominate things around here for the last few months. So I almost don't know what to do with myself. Yeah, Tim is the master of remembering where people are from. It's great watching his feed. I can't even remember where I'm from. All right, so this is white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit on here first. Again, I'm not really worried about the shadows, but on that note, I still don't want to have to do a bunch of work later. So I'm going to block this shadow off just so I don't have to repaint it entirely. Oh, Gary, thanks, buddy. You're amazing. Thank you. Really, really, really. That's awesome. Totally appreciate that, Gary. I might have hit it too hard on that. Are you going to play air guitar on the video? No, and I'll tell you why, Michael. Because my luck, if I'm shitting around with that thing, I'm going to drop it. That's why I'm not going to do that. Simon Carter. How are we looking on that? This feels a little light now. Let me jump back to this. Yeah, it is a little bit light, but that's okay. It's definitely got the right vibe. It definitely has that washed out vibe. So, yeah, okay. Actually, I want to put a little bit more on. I'm just gonna hold this. I'm not even using the magnets. So I want some on the louver here. Here we go. Exactly, Michael. What could go wrong? Nothing we can't fix. That's the beauty of it. All right. I think, because what I'm doing is I'm kind of judging it up against the blue here. So this feels a little washed out. It's definitely washed out. But I also want to have that blue in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that for a second. I'm going to jump over to the front of the radiator housing here, and I'm going to add a little bit of white to that, because what I got to make sure I'm doing is I'm judging it right now against this brilliant radiator housing, brilliant red radiator housing, and I don't want to do that. I want to kind of judge it up against what it's going to be. So what I want to do here so you can see it. So what I'm going to do is yeah, this works. I'm just going to cut out the lighter parts of this radiator housing here. The parts that also have white on them. Steve, when in doubt, for you, don't. Exactly. Exactly. Because here's the thing. Whenever I screw around with something, I have to know that I can replace it or, redo it. I don't want to do that guitar again, ever. I love doing it. It was fun, but I am glad that one's done. So yeah, so I don't want to do repairs on it. I don't want to. Once that's cleared, it's going in the bag and it's going to get delivered, and that's going to be it. All right, that's good. There's a highlight down here on this fender too. Yeah, we're going to get that started too. We might as well. It's a really, really bright highlight. It's basically the sun. It's reflecting on that fender. So I'm going to start getting that ready too. Haven't done the headlights yet on either headlight, so I don't have to worry about that because there's some bright highlights on those too. I think that's good. Oh, that's interesting too. More of that blue. All right. I'm going to set up for the blue too. So that comes in here, which I'll show you what I'll do with that in a second. All right, because there's it's up here too. This will be fun. This is a good template because there's a lot of moving parts in this one. Okay, got to go back to work. You'll have an awesome day, but don't let nobody mess it up. Michael, there's no guarantee for that, so I cannot make that promise to you, but what I can say is I hope you have a great day. Oh, all right, let's line this up. So these larger magnets, these 1/4-inch magnets, are strong enough to kind of get through the ampersand, but not super strong. Like they don't hold great. Like the smaller ones, these little tiny ones. Actually, these are 3/8. I'm sorry, these are 3/8. These are 1/4. So the 1/4 ones are again, they'll hold. They won't really hold, but they'll stick a little bit. But as soon as they get near another magnet, they don't want to hold on. All right. But they hold on enough that, they keep the copy where it should be on the ampersand. I just heard from Patty Chadwick. She gave me the heads up that Legion paper, the company that makes Yupo paper, now has a mounted paper. So they take the Yupo paper and they mount it on a piece of aluminum. So I'm looking forward to getting that. I think Dick Blick just started stocking it. So on the next order, I think we'll grab some of that. All right, still just white, because what I can do is I can tint this whichever way I want, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So this top reflection up here is more orangey, which is what I had on this, which is what I may bring that back to, because I think it's too pale. So let's make up some of that, and all that was, because I know me, that was just red oxide, the orange tint to it. So I was doing 543s this morning. I started them. Did I start them today or yesterday? I started them today. And it's so funny jumping from 543s to a painting like this. Like 543s, I'm all like, fire drill, get it done. It's like 2 hours of insanity. And this one is like, okay, just put the brakes on. Just relax. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to, figure out what you have to do to get things done fast. So it's a great back and forth between the two, though. All right, so a little bit of, you can't see it because I was doing it off the side, a little bit of red oxide, a little bit of 40-50 with reducer in it. This is a 1 part 40-50 to 5 parts reducer. So this will give me a nice transparent orange. So I'm going to need a transparent blue as well, but we'll get to that in a second. And when I say transparent, I'm talking like super transparent, like crazy transparent. All right, get that going. So now I'm going to take this guy here, and I'm just going to go over that white with the orange a little bit. Now the nice thing about this is I can keep going back and forth. So say like that, like there wasn't enough white on that. As soon as I hit it with the orange, it kind of really dulled out. So because it's orange, I don't have to worry about blue shift, because the orange automatically takes care of the blue shifts as I kind of spray that on top. So I'll add a little bit more white to that. Jump back to the orange. Yeah, exactly, Tim. It's right. It's crazy. It's just like it's mostly like it's because it's a different mindset. It's like you just have to kind of readjust your brain. This highlight where the fender is, that's pure white. So I'm going to kind of start to put that in, but I don't have to get that to opacity or anything. I don't have to bring that all the way out to the final brightness, because there's a lot of like flare on that. There's a lot of, glow. So what's going to happen is when I get to really do that, I'm going to just take off all the mask to spray it to give it that glow. But for now, this is just kind of acting like a primer. This is just putting this on the front fender so that I have something to work with later. Back to the orange. So the orange, with the orange, I'm gonna, so how I was talking about this being kind of pale. So what I'm gonna do with it, with the orange, is I'm just gonna kind of go back in over this and drop in a little bit of orange. And what's nice is it'll bring the saturation back of that color, even though the original color was red. This has more of a kind of an orangey flare to it because of the sky above. Okay, so there was a bunch of other stuff I cut out of this template. And I didn't remove it completely. I just left kind of tabs in so I can kind of pull it down. So this next one, this is going to be very blue. The sky is really reflecting in this. It's almost like the curve of that front of the top of that radiator is like acting like a lens. So we're going to move some stuff around here because I want this really white. So I'm going to use a stencil to kind of block off what I just did. I'm going to hit the top of that with a good amount of white. That's not white, that's orange, Steve. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? What could go wrong? The other thing that happened too, I don't know if I was keeping you guys up on it, but there are 2 shows that I've entered pieces in and I'm waiting to hear from before I keep entering shows, because, you know, I enter the same paintings in different shows if they don't get in. So the Manifest Gallery show, which I was supposed to hear from on Friday, they bumped that up a little bit. So they're going to start notifying people this coming Friday. And then the Butler show, looks like they start telling people on Sunday who got in. So I'm waiting with bated breath for both. So I have different pieces in both of those shows because they run at the same time. But whatever doesn't get into those shows, I'll go and enter into the Associated Artists of Pittsburgh show, which the call for entries ends the end of the month for that. So, all right. So when I pull this now, I've got kind of like this dual highlight here. Now this highlight up the top, I shouldn't have pulled this off, but because it's blue. But that's okay. I need another brush. What are we going to use? This one. Yeah, the Butler show especially. I mean, and I talked about this in the Tech Tuesday video that I did on juried shows. There are so many great pieces that are put into a show. You know what I mean? It's like there are more great pieces of art than there are spaces on the wall. So, you know, there's always, I mean, well, it's more than always a chance that, you know, that you won't get into a show, even if you feel like it's the best painting you've ever done. And that's the one big takeaway for all these shows. You know, you put your stuff in, you hope for the best. Unfortunately, a lot of shows don't tell you why yours didn't get in just because there's so many entries. You know, they can't do that. Sometimes you get a smaller show and you can, you know, get a hold of the judge and you know, the judge will sometimes be kind enough to kind of give you a critique on what they saw in your piece or what they didn't. That's rare. But the bottom line is, you know, these things are, you know, they're fluid. Like I said, you could have done the best painting you've ever done, and you enter it, and it doesn't get in. And that's not because the painting's not good. It's because there are so many other great paintings alongside of that you just can't put them all in. So, but in any event, I'm hoping, like I do whenever I put something in a show like that, especially the Butler show, because the Butler show is just a really great place. It's really well known. And if whoever wins the big prize, the best of show for the Butler show for the mid-year this year, gets a solo show at the Butler next year, that's insane. That's out of control. All right, so I got blue in here now. It's cobalt blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly go over just the white that I just put in once I get it to spray. There we go. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit more blue to this. It's going to be a little bit darker, but I'm going to jump in with the white right after. Manifest down in Cincinnati, the other show, the miniature show, that's fun too. They do a kind of a neat thing. They have a season, so they're in their 20th season now, and I think it goes from August to August, so not like calendar year season. But what's really cool about them is they'll have all the shows that they have during the season, and then I don't know how they jury them, but they will take one piece out of all of that and have kind of a grand winner of the season, which is kind of fun too. All right, so this is just white again. So I've got the blue in there, right? And I want to brighten this up a little bit. So if I just kind of go over the blue, it does knock back the blue a little bit, but it also brightens it up. So it works really, really well. Let's see what we got now. I gotta do the same thing down below. So we'll pull this, just gonna rip this right off because I don't need it. Yeah, that looks wonderful. All right. Same thing down in here. There's the horizon line right here. So I'm going to do the same thing, but just not as intense. Actually, I may not even need to put the blue in this, but we'll see. The reason why is because of the blue shift. There might be enough blue shift that it'll work. Let's see how that looks. Actually, that may be enough. Yeah, that's enough. I like it. Yay. Now, what's cool about that is just by default, just the way that it works, because I'm just kind of going by the reference photo and not really, trying to pay attention. Obviously, the reference photo is real life, so all the parts make sense. So as you're doing this and you're so hyper-focused on one section, if you do it accurately, you get really cool things. Like I got this blue here, which seems out of place when I was just kind of working on it by itself, but it's picked up by the blue in the fenders, and it's also picked up by the blue back here too. So it adds this nice little triangle to this, which is great. So good. And I like the orange up there. That's fine. I'm not going to do the details on this, like the radiator cap and stuff yet. I'm going to wait till I get the rest of it in before I do any of that. How do I feel about this? Yeah, I got to stop. My brain is screaming to make this more red, but it's not, because what it's doing is it's picking up a lot on what's going on down here. These are very similar colors, so I'm going to leave it for now. The thing is, I don't want to move on with all the details before I get this base color in. I think I am going to add a touch of red because I can't help myself. Especially in the shadows, because I think the shadows I have this brownish color, and I don't think that's right. Yeah, I'm going to add a little bit of red to that, but not much. Oh, you know what's going on? It's doing it again. Sorry about that. Hold on one second. For some reason, my YouTube will stop showing me comments. Yeah, I missed all that. Sorry about that. All right. I'm back up and running. All right, so we're going to grab the shadow, because this is going to be the red for the start here. Because I'm going to start by bumping up the shadows and making it more opaque, more red. What am I looking at? Here we go. Here we go. That. Yeah, this will be good. And this, you know what, visually, this will give me that red that I'm feeling like I'm missing. Oh, these magnets are like... All right. So what brush do I don't need? I guess I can use Mike's brush. Yeah. No? Maybe not. Interesting. What happened to the valve on that one? All right, I'll have to fix that. Okay, what don't I need here? The blue. I don't think I need the blue. I figure we'll probably work for about an hour today, since I am behind on the 543s. Usually I like to have them pretty much, the majority of them done by Thursday. So that way I can finish the last ones on Friday, but I've only got one done so far. So trying to be a better non-artist. You know what I mean? Like I like trying to get the weekends so that I'm not, working. Sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. So, all right, so I got red in here, a little bit of red, Pyrrole red, and then a little bit of reducer. I want this kind of opaque, so I don't want to over reduce it. This brush is that 0.3 millimeter Creos, and it can handle thicker paint really well. Mix that up. Yeah, Tim, I'll put that on a razor blade. Oh boy. All right, let's take a look at this. And again, I talk about, these photocopies and how much I love them more than adhesive masks. Now, I used to use a lot of adhesive masks, but I've pretty much switched over to, all doing copies. Even when an adhesive mask would probably do a better job, I'll still use the copies just because I've gotten so used to it. But one of the really great advantages of it is what I'm about to do right now. So I just sprayed that in, and now I want to take a look at it. So I can remove this copy really easily and take a look at it. And if it needs more, I just put the copy back on. That's not as easy to do with Frisket, or certainly not with FBS tape, because the FBS tape is so thin. So this photocopy makes it really easy to just kind of like look at it, make an adjustment, keep going with it, that kind of thing. All right. That looks good, but I still feel like there's more red on this. So I'm gonna do it. This just feels like it needs more red. So just on the bottom edge. Maybe like a vignette at the top, just a little bit more red at the top. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's good. That'll make a good Tech Tuesday. Oh, the doing the 100. No. The coronation of Napoleon will not be going on a razor blade anytime soon. I mean, I say that, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should, and then, do something stupid, but I don't know. All right. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm very okay with that now. This area in here needs to be darker, but I can work on that. It's very hard to see now because we've got a lot of paint on this, but this was an HD stencil originally, which I'm going to be working with the boys at HD Stencil coming up with some new fun stuff. So here's my original. Actually, let me. What do I need to do? I need something white so you can see it. This is my original HD stencil, and again, for those who didn't see how this works, you send HD stencil. It's hdstencils with an s.com. You send them your photograph, and then they send you back whatever size you want. Actually, you send them the file to size. So they send the file, send this stencil back, and it's like a screen print, and you just kind of put it down on your substrate, spray through it, and then you get this kind of, you're seeing it in reverse, but this is basically what it looks like, just in positive on the surface. And what it does is, what I love, like all these little louver lines, which would, that would suck to try to figure out where they are and get them right. They're all right there. They're all lined up and ready to go. Same thing with the tire treads, The tire treads are really easy. In fact, what I'm going to end up doing with the tire treads, since I've already sprayed the bright part of the wheel here and it's gone, the HD stencil, I'm just going to line up this HD stencil again and respray those tire treads so I can see where they are. And then I don't have to guess. It's really great. You can do a lot with this. So again, if I needed them, I could do the same thing with the louver lines. And, you know, the radiator lines too. So just a really cool thing. And they're not super expensive, especially if you think of the time that it saves you. So I'm a big fan. Big fan. Plus, the other great thing about them is then I will go and use all the the photocopy stuff and cut out stencils. But it gives you such a neat image, like a good solid image on the surface. You can just freehand it. You have so much information. You can just go for it. So it's really nice. Yeah, what are we looking at? The original painting's 30 feet long. Oh, Wayne, what's up, buddy? Yeah, that's why it's not going to be on a razor blade. Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'll go look at it after the feed, Tim. Got to go with your gut feeling. Yeah, 100%, Chris. That's 100%. And Gary says, art is so subject to many different views and opinions. Not all art is liked by all. Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So it makes it, I don't know, it makes it interesting. It makes it a challenge. I'm going to start hand painting. I keep forgetting if I've set this stuff up. Hold on one second. Let me see if this is ready to go. It is. What do you know? Okay. Yeah, but the art being subjective, 100%. And, you know, I don't know. Like, I'm better now. Like, I used to get into it with people a lot, you know, arguing about what's what. But, you know, I've kind of redefined my stand on all of it, the art thing. And for me, you got to take a step back and ask yourself what's valuable about it, you know? And I don't mean money-wise, although that's part of it. But just what's valuable about the art. And for me, it's the human skill and talent that it took to make that. Whenever I look at anything, any kind of human-made art, that's the one thing that fires me up. The one common thing that fires me up about all different kinds of art. And the one thing that I know I can appreciate and have appreciated all along. There are so many different opinions on like what style of art is good and not good, and all that's personal. Like Gary just said, it's all personal preference. But for me, there's no getting around the talent part of it. You know, if it took a talent and a skill and it took that person, you know, years to get to a point where they could produce that, then that automatically out of the gate has my respect, whether I like the art or not. You know, it's there. So, all right. I don't want a soapbox today. I do, but I don't. All right. I'll do my photo. Oh yeah, I was using it to show you guys stencil. All right. I'm going to focus a little bit. So I'm gonna work on this since this is coming out good, and that's now where I want it to be. That I feel really good about that too. So I'm going to kind of focus instead of just painting lines with you. We'll do some details on this radiator housing. They're crazy detailed, and I love that you can determine the size too. Yeah, without a doubt. All right, I'm not going to do the radiator. Yeah, I'm not going to do the radiator, the lines on the radiator, these here, because that needs a little bit of special love. I don't know if you can see it, but because the way the resolution on the HD stencil was, it gives you these kind of diagonal lines, very much like if you take a photograph of a computer monitor or a TV. You know, you see the diagonal lines that you don't see if you're just looking at it. That happened here too. Which those can't be there. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to remove them. Which probably means repainting this, but well, we'll figure it out. I'm not going to do that now. All right. I have Jim Morrison stuck in my head, which isn't bad. Which is weird because I was listening to the Sting channel this morning before before everything got going. So I don't know why I have. No, not Jim Morrison. Did I say Jim Morrison? I wasn't. No, not the Doors. I was thinking of Van Morrison. Sorry. Kelly says, we have a TV show called Landscape and Portrait Artist of the Year. My favorite never wins. Yeah, that's exactly it. That is exactly it. And that goes back to the show thing too, like I was talking about. You know, it's like, I don't know, with juried shows and choosing jurors and all that. That you know, I have feelings about that too as well. You know, I think I have juried a show or shows before, and I don't like doing it because I don't know a lot of, like when you have an open show where you can put anything in, oils, acrylics, watercolors. Not only that, you know, just the mediums. This is like a grayish red, by the way, that I'm using for this gasket here. I'm not an expert on what it takes to do those things, some of those things, because I don't work in those mediums. So for me to judge that, I wouldn't want that job at all. But you know, it's part of it. You know, you sometimes the juror is chosen for those shows not because they have done everything, but because they have a certain sensibility that, you know, goes beyond the medium, which is also fine. But yeah, it gets to be tough because, like, you know, say you are a watercolorist and you pull something off that's absolutely amazing in watercolor, but yet doesn't really translate to someone who doesn't understand watercolor. You'd be like, oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever. There's no way I'm not gonna get in this show and do great things. And then, you know, it's an abstract oil painter that's during the show and has no idea what you pulled off, and then, you know, your piece doesn't get in. So that's my takeaway from all that is, this is just straight red, by the way. My takeaway from all that is I don't get wound up anymore. I used to when I was younger. You know, you enter a show and, you know, all you do is think about it, and you know, fantasize about getting in that show, and if you don't, you're crushed. And I don't do that anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not happy when I don't get in a show that I've entered that I want to get into, but you take it all with a grain of salt. You really do. Okay, that gasket is good. Yeah, so I'm just going to pick at the details. Actually, what I might do is I might maybe move you guys closer now that we're doing something a little less general. I'm going to switch to this so you guys don't have to go on the ride. Not to go on the ride. Yeah, Van Morrison. I got Van Morrison stuck in my head. Not Brown Eyed Girl either. I mean, I'm sorry, Sir Van Morrison. What the hecko? There's a full pallet cam shot for you. The clamp just fell off. What is going on here? What just happened? Hold on a minute. We are having technical difficulties. What do you know about that? The clamp just hit the... What is going on with this? Did I... No, we're still on. Hold on, let me figure out what exactly is going on right now. Oh, I know what happened. I know what happened. I think I know what happened. Maybe? Jeez. What could go wrong? No, that's that. And that's that. All right, I see. All right, my monitor is all screwed up right now. Oh, maybe that? No. Oh, that? No. I can't see anything. What could go wrong? All right, oh, I have no idea what's going on here. What could go wrong? I know, no kidding, Chris. At least I can see your comments again. Let's jump back to that one because that's all blurry. Yeah, I can't see. Well, that's never happened before. All right, wait a minute. That's got to make sense. Those are all good. That's all good. That's off. That's good. There's nothing there. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to try something stupid because why not? I'll be right back. How about now? Should be good now. All right. The hell was I doing? I don't even know what I was doing. Jeebus. Criminale. Let's put that down. It's probably too loud. There we go. Sound good. Okay, good. Yeah, what I was saying was I'm just going to keep working because, why not? I'm not going to use the palette cam either because I had to unplug the switcher, and as soon as I unplug the switcher, it forgets all the settings. So when I go to turn on the palette cam now, it's going to be all screwed up. So we'll just go without it to save a little bit of time. But it's, you'll get the final result on the painting, I guess. So what I was saying was I have the big camera set up, and it's got it's on a kind of a movable arm so that I can put the big camera anywhere. And it's a DSLR, but it's got an HDMI out on it, which is what allows me to use it like a camera, like a webcam. And what I found was when I had it, when I started working with it, I felt like I was putting a ton of stress on the actual plug on the side of the camera because the HDMI cable went into it. And then as I'm moving the whole thing around, it's like pulling on the plug, and I'm like, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to, break the connection in the camera plug, and then I'm going to have it sent out for repair and all this other crap. So I bought this is a really long story for no good reason, just to warn you. So what I did was I ended up getting a really, really short 6-inch HDMI cable, plugged that into the camera, and then I just got the regular long HDMI cable to go to the switcher. So that way the stress now is on that connection between the small cable and the big cable, and not between the cable and the camera. What I use to make sure that stays where it should is a kind of a spring clamp type of thing. And what happened was the spring clamp sprung and fell on the switcher and pushed all the buttons. And that's why it went sideways, because it pushed buttons I didn't even know were there. And I don't know what they do. So there you go. This is a pink color because I don't have the palette cam set up. So it looks white, but it's really not. It's like a pink. And this is for the clouds and the other things that are going on in this. There's some other neat little highlights down in here, but they're pretty subtle. So I'm just going to mix up a little bit deeper pink. They'll still read as a highlight, but they'll be more kind of, actually it's way too bright. But when I add a little bit of red to this and make it kind of a deeper pink, they just act as the highlights they're supposed to be. Good. I'm glad you guys are back. I'm glad that was, total screw up. All right, I'm going to jump back to the brighter white now. That's another highlight on this side of the hood. I mean, a radiator. Brighter highlight. There's also one that goes across the front here. Really fine. Lovely. Okay, yeah. All right, so now I'm just mixing up a little bit of red and black. You know what? It's going to take me 2 seconds to get the... Give me 2 seconds here. Oh, I'm surprised we're still live, actually, because... Oh, now I know why we're still live. All right. 2 seconds here. You're going to get a shot of that for a second, which we don't want. We want this one, and we want it about there. We want it this size, and we don't want it that big. We want this and a little bit of this. Oh, I missed something. Oh, I know what I missed. This one needs to be down a little bit. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly it, Tim. Okay, so what I was doing was I mixed a little bit of red with the black. Yeah, and it's funny, and Tim, because you're a one-man show too, that it's, you watch some of these bigger channels that have people, staffs, kind of doing behind the scenes. And that is gigantic, because they can, well, one, you wouldn't have what just happened to me necessarily, which is just a product of me trying to do everything. So yeah, I mean, it is. It's fun. It's fun when you're trying to do it all yourself. Okay. So what's nice about the jet black is it's got a real brown cast to it. So when you add it to red, it just makes a really nice deeper red, which is great. Nice warm red. It doesn't turn it to purple or anything like that, which is fine. I mean, if that's what you want, you can get that to happen. But, for me, it's just real predictable. So I'm just putting the seam in here. Since this color is really good in here, I'm happy with this. So I'm going to leave that the way it is. Yeah, so what happened was when that clamp fell and hit the switcher, it switched the monitor so that it was just stuck on one camera that and I couldn't see what you guys were seeing at all. So I had no idea what was going on during that. So my apologies. Definitely a what could go wrong moment. All right, so this right here, this little thing is the wires to the headlamp. So, and this is the mount for the headlamp. So I'm going to wait on all that and do that at the end when I get all the rest of the details in. But right now it's looking pretty good. Yeah, I can start laying out the radiator cap. It's funny, between these two cars, the blue one and the red one is definitely more stock, where the blue one has all kinds of add-on, like, and relatively period bling, but still bling. So this has a regular, Ford radiator cap on it. The other one in the back has this, we can't see it because it's behind the pallet cam, but it's got this, like, I don't know, big ornate radiator cap. All right, so it's got white as a base and then it's got some blue in it. Do I still have the blue in the brush? I don't know. We'll find out. A couple other secondary little highlights. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go back to source and get a nice frame for this. I don't know what what I may do with this one is I may just drop it off and say, just order me a frame. Dave, what's up? That's all right, Dave. What's going on, man? Dave, do you like me? What do you like to be called, Dave? Do you like to be called Bug or Dave? Let me know. I'm gonna make sure I get the right thing for you. So I think what I do is I alternate the names for you when I say hi to you on different feeds that I catch you on. But I'd like to get the right one. All right, so there's a little bit of darkness there. Hello, darkness, my old friend. And thank you, man. I'm glad you're digging it. I'm happy where it's finally coming together, slowly but surely. You guys still in it? Yeah, make sure you guys can see since I'm up pretty close. So now with this darker red, I can go back in on this highlight that I put in with the white, and I can really like shape it. I can like make it really, like this lower highlight is really thin, and the white paint doesn't really, just like in the airbrush, the white paint doesn't really flow off the paintbrush very well either, but the black and the red do. So I can kind of put it in with the lighter color and then go shape it after with the darker color. So I'll do the other side here, show you what I mean. So this, make sure you guys can see it, yeah. So this, yeah, this highlight right here, this really, really thin. So I can grab more of this better flowing kind of maroony brown color. And it's got lines on both sides of it anyway. So this just lets me kind of kill two birds with one stone. I put in that line, but I also get that brighter highlight down to like a ridiculously clean, thin line. Like that. And that right there makes me happy. Yeah, it makes me happy. Does that need to be brighter? I feel like, no, those are bright. Those are not. Yeah, we may put the, yeah, we'll put the bling on this part up here. Let me put the the Ford logo in here first. So yeah, I might as well just finish the top of this radiator, and then I can probably call it there for today, so I can get back on those 543s. I got again, you guys are great. There's some great suggestions there. I'm going to bust Mr. Kennedy's balls a bit. So he had a suggestion, and I do like to take my shots at him because he's a great guy. So that's my sneak preview for Monday. I'm doing a painting from his suggestion, but like I said, I'm taking my shots. All right, a little bit of blue, get that Ford blue color in there. Obviously the white on there acted like a primer first. So because again, if I painted the blue directly on the red, the blue is real transparent. It would just disappear. It would turn black. So that little bit of white first really gives the blue something to stand on. When you're happy, we're happy. Excellent, Wayne. I like it. I like it. And I am happy. All right, a little bit of a shadow underneath that Ford logo. Shape the top of that a bit. And then, so I've got the blue in there now, and the blue is dry. So you can't see, obviously you can't see the Ford letters, but they're there. So I want to take that kind of static blue field and just give the indication of the Ford letters in there, but almost like it's just the reflections, like the highlights on those letters. And that's all it needs. It just reads like it's supposed to. All right, that's good. That's good. It's a little bit more of a highlight there. It's right here. Dan's mowing his lawn. Dan, I got to do that tomorrow. Well, it's my goal. If I can get all the 543s done by the afternoon, I'm going to start mowing. All right, I shouldn't do, well, I'm not going to then. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to darken this little triangle right here first, which is pretty simple. I just don't know that I have, do I have a cutout for that? I do. That's awesome. It's right here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bright highlight starburst on this, and that's where we'll end. It's kind of a nice blingy way to end. But what I first need to do is I need to darken inside the motor door mount hood thing. It's like the old Harley. The old Harley, they changed a lot of parts and they have a lot of new names for stuff now than they did in 1918 or 1919, whenever that bike was. So I'm like, I don't know what this part's called. Same thing. All the Ford Model A and Model T guys are like, oh, no, it's called this. And like, I don't know. I should know. I will by the end of it, but I don't know now. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing up. Actually, I'm not even mixing it. I'm just putting in a little bit of black here because, again, that straight black does a great job on the red. I like mowing the lawn. It's one of my things. I've always liked mowing the lawn. It's my first job, mowing lawns. So a little bit of black here, mostly on this left-hand side. Yeah, my dad's deal was if I mowed his lawn every week, our lawn every week, that I could use his mower or the mower to mow everyone else's lawn and make money. And that's what my first job was. It's supposed to rain here tomorrow, which you might get Saturday. Yeah, so I definitely got to get it done tomorrow then. We don't need any more rain here. We definitely don't need any more rain. All right, that looks really, really good now. I do have to clean up the engine compartment a little bit, but we won't. We'll do the bling here a little bit. All right, so to get this, you've seen this done a million times, especially on T-shirts. Airbrush T-shirts is that little starburst, and it's just a lens flare. It's the camera lens not being able to pick up everything, so it just kind of does its own thing. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be a little bit of airbrush and a little bit of paintbrush. So this one has a couple little spikes that come off. Like that. Keep these as thin as I can. Again, the white's not a great one for painting really thin lines, you know what I mean? So in these little lens flares that go opposite one another. So am I going to get one off the side? Maybe a little bit. Like right about there. Callie, have a good one, man. Have a great one. Thanks for jumping in. Thank you so much, man. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that a lot. You're awesome. All right, so for the flare part of it, it's really like a well, I'll show you. Shut up and just do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a little I'm just going to cut out a couple little pieces of paper here to work as templates. Just little ones like that. Oops, don't want to put that in there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of line them up on either side of these spikes. Just one, oh, as I drop it. Come back here. There we go. This one goes here. Drop another magnet on that. Okay, so what happens is with the white, which should be in this brush. Yeah, good. The flare really starts between these little spikes. So I'm gonna just add a little, oh, I don't want to move it. There we go. So I'm just going to rock the trigger back and forth here. And just add a little flare between there. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. I'm going to try to save these pieces because I've got to do that again. Oh, actually, got a little spider webbing there too. So we're going to take care of that first. Spider webbing there is not a good thing because the flare, the little spikes that come off the flare are really straight, and the spider webbing is not. So instead of trying to erase that and causing it to go sideways, I'm just gonna paint over it. I'm gonna erase it with paint, basically. There we go. And then the other one, I don't know, can you see that one? That's still on the inside of the door compartment. That I'll just take some of that brownish red and just touch on it, and then it just basically covers it. All right, so there's the first one. Check the other ones. There's one on. Oops, keep dropping them. There we go. Okay. There's one on this one down here too. Opposite, looks like the opposite ones have this extra flare, which makes sense. So get that like that and do the same thing here. It isn't as pronounced on the bottom one. Oh, I know why that blew out. Okay. I'm like, that's weird. Like, I don't know why that blew out like that, but now I do. Because I have the super thin white in here. Because I was doing this thing up here. All right, I get it now. All right, so that's really good. So now the rest of it, and that's I'm going to get rid of this white because this white is too thin to do this. There's a good chance that it will blow out when I try to do the rest of the starburst. And I don't want that. So I'm just going to put a little bit thicker white in it. It's 1-to-1. It's 1 part paint to 1 part reducer. So now this will have a less chance of blowing out. And now I'm just going to aim right at the center of the No, I'm not. There we go. I'm glad you guys are here to help me out. I'm going to grab a little bit of blue and a little bit of white. And I got to put the sky in before I do the rest of the flare. What's the word on it, Tim? So this blue is the reflection, obviously, of the sky in the top of that cap. And then what I'm doing is I'm just leaving the very center of it white because that's the highlight of this. A warm white. Interesting. Because I know where that's going, Tim. I wonder if it's warm enough to... Yes, there you go. I was just going to say, I was wondering if it's warm enough to battle that blue shift. Interesting. All right. Reasonably thick white. And all I'm going to do is aim right at the center of this. And I'm just going to really gently kind of rock the trigger back and forth until I start to see some paint coming out. And then once the paint starts flowing, and I'm still rocking the trigger, but I can kind of move back and forth until I get it to where it should be. And that looks really good. So I'm going to cut my losses. Yeah, I'm sure, especially if it solves that problem, Tim, if it's something that, would alleviate a lot of problems with blue shift just out of the gate, I'm sure Createx would be all over that. And if anyone's going to come up with it, it's going to be Drew first because he's so in tune with that whole blue shift thing. In fact, he just had an article on his newsletter. If you're not following Drew Blair, you should be. And he has a great newsletter, and he's got a lot of great articles. And he was just talking about, the severity of blue shift too. All right. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I think I'm going to get back to 543s. Let me switch back to this one so you can see it. Sorry about the dramatic cut there. It should be a little bit smoother. Anyway, so that's what we got so far. And again, this painting is, it's just like the Harley painting, but just, different because of the colors involved and the shininess. But it's still, I still got a ton of hours in this thing, and it's going to take a bunch more to get it done. The other thing I need help with too, I probably have, I'll switch to the other camera here as we are closing it down. I'm coming down to the end of the razor blade painting. I'm guessing we got an episode next week, and I think I can get it done. The episode after that, the painting part of it, and then there's one more episode with the framing of it. So it's either going to be 2 or 3 more episodes of that, and then I got to do a new one. So the razor blade painting was kind of a request. People had asked for it. So if there's another thing you want to see, another type of painting that you want to see in the open studio, just let me know. The things I haven't done yet, I haven't done a cityscape in open studio. That would take a long time. That would be another epic, crazy thing. But it could be something quicker too. I don't know. But I'm going to start throwing it out there to everyone. So, because that's all about what you guys want to see. You guys are on board with that from beginning to end. So it has to be exciting or has to be entertaining for you guys, I think. Because all this stuff is fun for me. So it doesn't really matter what I do here. But for you guys, I want to make sure I give you guys the type of stuff you want to see. So that's what I got. All right. So thank you for enduring all my technical challenges. Thank you for all the super chats. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for helping keep things going here. Have a great weekend. Be good to one another. Stay safe. And come back on Monday and, we'll be giving away painting and doing a bunch of other stuff, and it'll be fun. All right. So for Steve Lee and Thursday Live, I will catch you guys next time. Thanks a lot. That's not the right out screen either because I turned it off. So that's Mondays, but sorry.